My hands shake as I drop the phone. The dial tone buzzes in my ear like an angry wasp. Michael's voice still echoes in my head. We don't need you anymore. Get out. 3 simple words that just destroyed my entire world. I'm 63 years old, and for the first time in my life, I have nowhere to go. My own son just threw me out of the house where I raised him, the house where I've lived for 23 years. The same house where I taught him to ride a bike, where I nursed him through chickenpox, where I celebrated every birthday and helped with every homework assignment. My suitcase sits by the front door like a sad reminder of how fast everything can fall apart. Inside are my clothes, my medications, and the few pictures I managed to grab before Michael started yelling. 3 months ago, when he showed up at my door with 8-year-old Tommy and tears in his eyes, I thought I was saving my family. His wife Jessica had left him for another man, and he had nowhere else to turn. Mom, I need help, he had said that day, holding Tommy's small hand. Just until I get back on my feet. I opened my door and my heart. I gave them my guest room, cooked their meals, did their laundry, and watched Tommy every day while Michael looked for work. I used my retirement savings to buy groceries and pay for Tommy's school supplies. I drove him to soccer practice and helped him with his math homework. I thought I was being a good mother and grandmother. But apparently, I was wrong. The hotel room smells like old carpet and cleaning supplies. I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. The pattern on the wallpaper hurts my eyes, but I can't look away. Outside my window, I can see the parking lot of a fast food restaurant. Cars come and go, families laughing as they walk inside. Normal people living normal lives. My phone buzzes. For a moment, my heart jumps. Maybe it's Michael calling to apologize. Maybe he's realized what he's done. Maybe Tommy is crying for his grandma. But it's just a text from the phone company about my bill. I think about the last few weeks and how strange Michael had been acting. He started getting phone calls that made him smile in a way I hadn't seen since before Jessica left. He would walk into another room to talk, speaking in whispers. When I asked who was calling, he would just say, work stuff, and change the subject. Then last week, Jessica showed up at our door. Our door. I still thought of it as our door then. She was thinner than I remembered, her hair a different color, wearing expensive clothes that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. She didn't even look at me when she walked in. Michael, we need to talk, she had said, acting like I wasn't even there. They went upstairs to his room, and I heard them talking for hours. Tommy sat with me on the couch, playing with his toy cars, but I could tell he was listening too. His little face was scrunched up with worry. Is Mommy coming home? He asked me. I didn't know what to say. Jessica had hurt this family so badly when she left. She had chosen another man over her husband and son. She had broken Tommy's heart and left him confused and scared. Now she was back, and I had a terrible feeling that nothing good would come from it. I was right. The next morning, Michael came downstairs with a look I had never seen before. Cold. Distant. Like he was looking at a stranger. Mom, Jessica and I are getting back together, he said without any emotion in his voice. She's moving back in, and we're going to be a family again. I felt my stomach drop. What about Tommy's stability? What about everything we've built here together? We don't need you anymore, he said. Jessica thinks it's time for you to find your own place. Jessica thinks. Not Michael thinks. Jessica thinks. That's when I understood. This wasn't really my son talking. This was Jessica's plan all along. She had come back not because she missed her family, but because she wanted Michael back and I was in the way. She wanted my house, my life, my place in Tommy's world. This is my house, Michael, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I've been taking care of both of you for 3 months. And we're grateful, he said, but his voice sounded like he was reading from a script. But it's time for you to go. That's when Jessica appeared at the top of the stairs, wearing one of my bathrobes. My bathrobe. She smiled down at me like she had won some kind of contest. Helen, I'm sure you understand, she said in a voice like honey mixed with poison. Michael and I need space to rebuild our marriage. Having you here is just too awkward. Awkward. Like I was some random person who had overstayed her welcome, not the woman who had held this family together when Jessica ran away. What about Tommy? I asked. He's been through so much change already. Jessica's smile got wider. Tommy will be fine. He needs to learn to depend on his real parents, not his grandmother. Real parents. The woman who abandoned her child for 6 months was talking about real parents. I looked at Michael, waiting for him to stand up for me, to remember everything I had done for him. But he just stood there, looking at his feet. I think you should pack your things, Jessica said. We'd like to start fresh. So I packed. I folded my clothes and gathered my pictures while Jessica watched from the doorway, making sure I didn't take anything that wasn't mine. She followed me from room to room like I was a thief. Tommy found me in the guest room, stuffing my photos into a box. "Grandma, where are you going?" he asked. I knelt down and hugged him tight. "I have to go away for a while, sweetheart." "But why? Did I do something wrong?" My heart broke into a million pieces. "No, baby. You didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes grown-ups make decisions that don't make sense." "Will you come back?" I looked into his big brown eyes and tried not to cry. "I don't know, Tommy. I hope so." He hugged me tighter. "I love you, Grandma. I love you too, baby. More than you'll ever know." When I walked out the front door with my suitcase, Tommy tried to follow me. Michael grabbed his arm and held him back. "Say goodbye to Grandma," Michael said. "I don't want to say goodbye," Tommy cried. "I want Grandma to stay." I almost turned around then. I almost dropped my suitcase and fought for my place in that house. But Jessica was standing behind Michael, her hand on his shoulder like she owned him. And maybe she did. So I walked away from the only home I'd known for over 20 years. I walked away from my grandson's cries and my son's silence. I walked away from the life I had built and the family I had loved. Now I'm sitting in this hotel room, wondering how everything went so wrong so fast. 3 months ago, I was a hero. I was the grandmother who saved the day, who opened her home and her heart to her broken family. Now I'm just an old woman with nowhere to go and no one to call. But as I sit here in the silence, something starts to grow inside me. It's not sadness anymore. It's not confusion. It's something harder and stronger. It's anger. And for the first time in my life, I'm not going to apologize for being angry. I'm not going to make excuses for other people's bad behavior. I'm not going to pretend that what happened to me was okay. Michael and Jessica think they can just throw me away like yesterday's newspaper. They think I'm old and weak and have nowhere else to turn. They're about to find out how wrong they are. Sleep doesn't come easy when your whole world falls apart in one day. I've been lying on this hotel bed for 6 hours, staring at the ceiling and thinking about everything that went wrong. The air conditioning makes a weird clicking sound every few minutes, and the people in the next room are watching TV too loud. But none of that matters because my brain won't stop replaying Michael's words over and over. "We don't need you anymore." I get up and walk to the bathroom mirror. The woman looking back at me has red eyes and gray hair that needs to be fixed. She looks tired and beaten down. She looks like someone who just got thrown away by her own family. But then I look closer. Behind the sadness, I see something else. I see the woman who worked 2 jobs to pay for Michael's college. I see the woman who sat up all night when he had pneumonia. I see the woman who taught him how to be strong, how to stand up for what's right. Maybe it's time I remembered those lessons too. My phone rings and I jump. The caller ID says, Ruth, and I feel my first smile since yesterday. Ruth is my younger sister, and she's never been afraid to tell people exactly what she thinks. "Helen? I've been worried sick. You didn't answer your phone last night." "I was sleeping," I lie. "Well, trying to sleep." "Tell me what happened. And don't leave anything out." So I tell her everything. I tell her about Jessica showing up, about Michael's cold voice, about packing my things while she watched. I tell her about Tommy crying and Michael holding him back. By the time I finish, Ruth is so quiet I think the call dropped. "Ruth? Are you there?" "Oh, I'm here," she says, and her voice is like ice. "I'm just trying to decide which one of them I want to strangle first." Ruth has always been the fighter in our family. When we were kids, she was the one who stood up to bullies. When her ex-husband tried to cheat her out of half their house, she took him to court and won. When her boss tried to fire her for being too old, she filed a complaint and got him fired instead. "What are you going to do?" she asks. "I don't know. Find an apartment, I guess. Start over." Start over? Helen, you're 63 years old. You shouldn't have to start over because your son decided to be an ungrateful jerk. But what choice do I have? I can't force them to want me there. Ruth makes a sound like she's choking. Want you there? Helen, that's your house. You've been paying the mortgage for 23 years. I know, but nothing. They can't just kick you out of your own home. I feel a spark of something. Hope, maybe? What do you mean? I mean you have rights. Legal rights. And I know someone who can help us figure out exactly what those rights are. Who? Margaret Chen. Remember her? She used to live next door to you before she moved downtown. She's a family lawyer now, and she specializes in elder abuse cases. Elder abuse. The words hit me like a cold slap. Ruth, I don't think. Helen, what would you call it when someone throws their elderly parent out of their own home? When they take advantage of their kindness and then discard them like garbage. I think about this. Is that what happened to me? Was I abused? I'm calling Margaret right now, Ruth says. We're going to fight this. I don't want to fight my own son. Well, he sure didn't mind fighting you. After Ruth hangs up, I sit in the silence and think. Part of me wants to just find a little apartment and disappear. It would be easier. It would be peaceful. But another part of me, the part that sounds like Ruth, keeps asking, why should I be the one to disappear? I pick up my phone and start doing something I haven't done in years. I start researching. I look up tenant rights and property laws. I read about elder abuse and family exploitation. I learn about something called constructive eviction and illegal lockouts. The more I read, the angrier I get. And the angrier I get, the clearer my mind becomes. I'm not some helpless old woman. I'm a homeowner. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a grandmother who has been taken advantage of by people who should love and protect me. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. My heart pounds as I read it. Grandma, it's Tommy. I took Daddy's phone while he was in the shower. I miss you so much. Why did you have to leave? Jessica is being mean to me, and Daddy seems sad all the time. She threw away your cookies from the freezer and said I can't talk about you anymore. Please come back. I love you. I read the message 3 times before the words really sink in. Tommy is only 8 years old, but he figured out how to text me. He's asking me to come back. He still loves me. I screenshot the message just in case Tommy has to delete it. Then I text back, I love you too, sweetheart. More than all the stars in the sky. Be brave for Grandma. My phone rings immediately. It's Ruth again. I talked to Margaret, she says. She wants to meet with us tomorrow morning. She says what happened to you sounds like textbook elder abuse and illegal eviction. What can she do? She can help us understand your rights. And Helen, there's something else. I called around and found out some interesting things about your precious daughter-in-law. What kind of things? Well, for starters, she's been living with that boyfriend of hers in his condo downtown. Apparently, they broke up last week when she found out he was cheating on her. Guess she needed a place to land. My stomach clenches. So she only came back to Michael because she had nowhere else to go? It gets better. I talked to Susan Morrison. You remember her, she works at the bank? Jessica applied for a credit card last month using your address. She's been planning this for a while. The pieces start falling into place. Jessica didn't come back because she missed her family. She came back because she needed a place to live and someone to support her. She saw Michael's weakness and my kindness as opportunities to exploit. There's more, Ruth continues. I drove by your house this afternoon. Jessica's car is parked in your spot, and she's already hung new curtains in the living room. Your curtains are in a trash bag on the curb. My beautiful blue curtains that I made myself. In the trash like they meant nothing. I also saw Mrs. Patterson from next door. She wanted me to tell you that she's been hearing a lot of arguing coming from your house. Apparently, Jessica has been screaming at Michael about money. She wants him to get a second job so they can afford to fix up the place. Fix up my place. The place I've been maintaining and improving for over 20 years. Mrs. Patterson also said Tommy has been sitting on the front porch by himself a lot. She tried to talk to him yesterday, but Jessica came out and told her to mind her own business. Poor Tommy. He must be so confused and scared. Ruth, I want to fight this. I want to go home. Good. Because Margaret has a plan. She says if we can prove that you were illegally evicted from your own home, we can get a court order to let you back in. And if we can show that Jessica and Michael are taking advantage of you financially, we might be able to get them removed instead. Can we really do that? We can try. But Helen, you need to be prepared. This might get ugly. Michael might say things that hurt. Jessica will definitely fight back. I think about Tommy's text message. I think about my blue curtains in the trash. I think about Jessica wearing my bathrobe and smiling like she won some kind of prize. Let them fight, I say. I'm done being pushed around. That's my sister, Ruth says, and I can hear the smile in her voice. After we hang up, I feel different. The sadness is still there, but it's mixed with something stronger now. Determination. Purpose. For the first time since Michael threw me out, I feel like I have a plan. I spend the rest of the evening researching everything I can about my rights as a homeowner. I find out that in my state, you can't just kick someone out of their home without proper legal notice, even if they're family. I learn about something called unlawful eviction, and discover that I might be able to sue for damages. I also look up Jessica's social media accounts. I know it's probably not the most mature thing to do, but I need to understand what I'm dealing with. Her Facebook page is full of posts about new beginnings and fresh starts. There are pictures of her in my house, my kitchen, my living room. She's posing like she owns the place. In one photo, she's wearing my apron and standing in front of my stove. The caption reads, "So grateful to have my family back together. Home is where the heart is." My apron. My stove. My home. But what makes me angriest is a post from this morning. It's a picture of Tommy sitting alone on the front porch, looking sad and lost. Jessica's caption reads, "Someone's having a hard time adjusting to our new family dynamic. Kids are so resilient though." Resilient. Like Tommy is supposed to just bounce back from losing his grandmother because it's convenient for Jessica. I screenshot everything and save it to a folder on my phone. Margaret might be able to use this as evidence. By midnight, I have a plan. I have research. I have evidence. And most importantly, I have something I haven't had in a long time: hope. Tomorrow, I'm going to start fighting for my home, my family, and my grandson. Jessica and Michael think they can just throw me away and move on with their lives. They're about to learn that this old woman isn't going anywhere without a fight. Margaret Chen's office smells like leather and coffee. She's smaller than I expected, maybe 5 feet tall with short gray hair and sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. But when she shakes my hand, her grip is firm and confident. "Helen, I've reviewed everything Ruth told me about your situation," she says, opening a thick file folder. "What happened to you is illegal. No one can throw you out of your own home without proper legal notice, not even family." Ruth squeezes my hand. "See? I told you." Margaret pulls out a stack of papers. "I've prepared several documents. First, a cease and desist letter demanding that Michael and Jessica stop harassing you. Second, a formal notice that you're exercising your right to return to your own property. And third, a petition for a restraining order if they try to prevent you from entering your home." My head spins. Can we really do all this? "Helen, you're the legal owner of that house. You have the deed, you pay the mortgage, you pay the taxes. They have no legal right to exclude you from your own property." She spreads out copies of my property records on the desk. "I pulled these from the county courthouse this morning. Your name is the only one on the deed. Michael isn't even listed as a resident for tax purposes." I stare at the papers. My signature from 23 years ago when I bought the house after my divorce. My name in black ink, making it official. I own that house, not Michael, not Jessica. "What about Tommy?" I ask. "I don't want him to get hurt in all this." Margaret's expression softens. "That's actually our strongest argument. Courts always prioritize the best interests of children. A stable, loving grandmother being forced out of her home while the child's mother, who abandoned him for 6 months, moves back in? Any judge will see the problem with that." Ruth leans forward. "Tell her about the other thing." Margaret nods. "I did some research on Jessica. She has a history of financial problems. 3 credit cards in collections, an eviction from her last apartment, and she filed for bankruptcy 2 years ago. She's using Michael and your home as a way to escape her debts. The pieces keep falling into place. Jessica didn't come back for love. She came back because she needed a place to hide from her creditors. Here's what we're going to do, Margaret continues. We're going to your house right now. We're going to deliver these papers in person and inform them that you're moving back in today. If they refuse, we'll call the police. My stomach clenches. What if Michael gets angry? Then we'll have witnesses to his behavior. I'm bringing my assistant Jake with us. He's 6'4" and used to be a police officer. Sometimes having backup helps keep things calm. An hour later, we're parked in front of my house. It looks different somehow. The flower boxes I planted are gone. There's a new doormat that says, "The Mitchell family," in curly letters. Mitchell is Michael's last name, but it's not mine anymore. I took back my maiden name after my divorce. Remember, Margaret says, you're not asking permission to enter your own home. You're informing them of your legal rights. Jake gets out first. He's exactly as tall as Margaret said, with broad shoulders and kind eyes. Don't worry, Mrs. Henderson. I've done this before. Most people calm down when they realize they're breaking the law. The front door opens before we even reach it. Jessica stands there in a pink bathrobe, not one of mine this time, with her hair in curlers. She looks like she just woke up even though it's almost noon. What do you want? She asks, but she's looking at Jake, not me. Good morning, Jessica, Margaret says professionally. I'm Margaret Chen, Mrs. Henderson's attorney. We're here to discuss her illegal eviction from her own home. Jessica's eyes narrow. Her what? Helen owns this house. She has the legal right to live here. What you and Michael did yesterday constitutes an illegal eviction under state law. That's ridiculous. Michael told her to leave. It's a family matter. Margaret holds up the papers. Actually, it's a legal matter. This is a cease and desist order demanding that you stop preventing Helen from accessing her own property. Jessica snatches the papers and starts reading. Her face gets redder with each line. This is stupid. She can't just show up here with lawyers and demand to move back in. Actually, Jake says in a calm voice, she can. It's her house. Michael. Jessica screams toward the stairs. Get down here. Your mother brought lawyers. I hear heavy footsteps, then Michael appears behind Jessica. He's wearing the same clothes as yesterday, and his hair is messy. He looks like he didn't sleep either. Mom, what are you doing? I'm coming home, I say, surprised by how steady my voice sounds. You can't just show up here with lawyers and make demands. Margaret steps forward. Michael, I need you to understand something. Your mother owns this house. She has the legal right to live here. What you did yesterday was illegal. Illegal? Michael laughs, but it sounds forced. She's my mother. I asked her to leave. That's not illegal. When you prevent someone from accessing their own property, it's called unlawful eviction. It's a crime. Jessica grabs Michael's arm. Don't listen to them. They're just trying to scare us. Here's what's going to happen, Margaret continues calmly. Helen is going to pack some clothes and move back into her room. You have 30 days to make other living arrangements. 30 days. Jessica's voice gets shrill. We just got back together. We're trying to rebuild our family. Then you should have thought about that before you illegally evicted the homeowner. Michael runs his hands through his hair. Mom, this is crazy. Can't we just talk about this like adults? We tried talking yesterday, I say. You told me to get out. I was upset. Jessica and I need space to work things out. Work things out in your own home, Ruth says sharply. Not in Helen's. That's when I hear a small voice from upstairs. Grandma. Tommy appears at the top of the stairs in his pajamas. His hair is sticking up and he's carrying his stuffed dinosaur. When he sees me, his face lights up like Christmas morning. Grandma, you came back. He runs down the stairs and throws himself into my arms. I hold him tight, breathing in his little boy smell of sleep and soap. I missed you so much, he whispers against my neck. I missed you too, sweetheart. Jessica's voice cuts through the moment. Tommy, go back upstairs. This is grown-up business. No, Tommy says firmly. I want to stay with Grandma. You need to listen to your mother, Michael says. But Grandma is here. She came back. Tommy looks between his parents with confusion. Why are you being mean to her? The adults all stand there in awkward silence. Even Jessica seems to realize how bad this looks, a little boy asking why his parents are being mean to his grandmother. Margaret clears her throat. Tommy, would you like to show your grandmother your room? Yes. Tommy grabs my hand. Come see what I did with my Legos. As we walk upstairs, I hear Margaret's voice behind us. Michael, Jessica, we need to discuss the legal reality of this situation. Tommy's room is a disaster. Clothes everywhere, toys scattered across the floor, his bed unmade. But in the corner, he's built an elaborate Lego castle. I made this for you, he says proudly. It's a castle where grandmas can live forever and no one can make them leave. My heart breaks and mends at the same time. It's beautiful, sweetheart. Grandma, why did you leave yesterday? I thought you didn't love me anymore. I kneel down to his level. Tommy, I will always love you. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, but that doesn't mean the love goes away. Are you going to stay now? I'm going to try. Through the window, I can see Mrs. Patterson from next door standing in her yard, clearly listening to the raised voices coming from my front porch. She waves when she sees me. Other neighbors are starting to notice too. Mr. Jenkins from across the street is getting his mail very slowly, obviously curious about the commotion. Downstairs, I hear Jessica's voice getting louder. This is harassment. You can't just show up here and threaten us. No one is threatening you, Margaret replies calmly. We're simply informing you of the legal facts. The legal facts are that we're a family and she's interfering. The legal facts are that Helen owns this house and you're trespassing. Tommy tugs on my sleeve. Grandma, Jessica threw away your special coffee mug. The one I made you in art class. My heart clenches. That mug was one of my most treasured possessions. Tommy had made it for me last Christmas, painting it with wobbly letters that said, "World's Best Grandma." She said it was ugly and taking up space in the cupboard. That's when I feel it. Not sadness this time, but pure anger. Jessica can throw me out, take over my house, and wear my clothes. But she had no right to destroy something my grandson made for me. I stand up and walk to the window. Jessica's car is still parked in my spot. Through the glass, I can see shopping bags in the back seat. Expensive bags from stores I can't afford. Tommy, where is Jessica getting money for shopping? She uses Daddy's credit card. She bought new clothes and shoes and makeup. She said she needed to look good for her fresh start. Fresh start. Using my son's money in my house after throwing me out. I hear footsteps on the stairs. Michael appears in the doorway, looking exhausted. Mom, can we talk? Alone. I follow him to the hallway. Downstairs, I can hear Jessica arguing with Margaret, her voice getting more desperate. This is insane, Michael says quietly. You can't just show up with lawyers and demand to move back in. I'm not demanding anything. I'm exercising my legal right to live in my own home. But Jessica and I are trying to work things out. Having you here makes it complicated. Complicated for who? You, Jessica. What about Tommy? Michael looks back toward Tommy's room. Tommy will adjust. He shouldn't have to adjust. He needs stability, not more upheaval. Mom, please. Just give us some time. A few months to get on our feet, then we can figure out a better arrangement. I look at my son, really look at him. He's 32 years old, but right now he looks like a scared little boy. Michael, what happened to you? When did you become someone who throws his mother out of her own home? He doesn't answer. He just stands there, looking at his feet. From downstairs, I hear Jessica's voice one more time. Fine. But don't expect us to make this easy for you. The front door slams so hard the windows rattle. Margaret's voice calls up the stairs. Helen? I think we need to talk. The house feels different now that Jessica stormed out. Quieter, but also more tense, like a rubber band stretched too tight. Margaret and Jake are sitting at my kitchen table, going through more legal papers. Ruth is making coffee in my own kitchen for the first time in 2 days. Michael is upstairs with Tommy, and I can hear them talking in low voices. Where did Jessica go? I ask Margaret. She said she was going to stay with a friend. But Helen, we need to discuss what happens next. She'll be back, and she won't be happy. Jake looks up from his notepad. I've seen this pattern before. People like Jessica don't give up easily. She's going to try to make your life difficult. What do you mean? She might try to turn Michael against you again. She might cause problems with Tommy. She might even try to damage your property or steal things. My stomach drops. She wouldn't hurt Tommy, would she? Not physically, Margaret says. But she might try to poison his relationship with you. Tell him lies. Make him think you're the problem. Ruth sets down a cup of coffee in front of me. That's why we need to be smart about this. We need to document everything. Document what? Margaret pulls out her phone. I want you to take pictures of everything in this house. Every room, every piece of furniture, everything valuable. If Jessica comes back and breaks things or steals things, we'll have proof. I spend the next hour walking through my own house like a detective. I photograph my grandmother's china in the dining room, my jewelry box on the bedroom dresser, the family pictures on the mantel. It feels strange, like I'm collecting evidence against my own family. In the master bedroom, I find things that make my blood boil. Jessica's clothes are hanging in my closet. Her makeup is spread across my bathroom counter. She's been sleeping in my bed, using my pillows, treating my most private space like it belongs to her. But what makes me angriest is what I find in my dresser drawer. It's empty. All my important papers are gone, my birth certificate, my social security card, my insurance documents. Even my passport is missing. Margaret. I call out. You need to see this. She comes running, Jake right behind her. What's wrong? Jessica took my personal documents. Everything important is gone. Margaret's face goes dark. That's theft. And possibly identity theft if she's planning to use them. Why would she take them? Maybe she's planning to apply for credit cards using your information. Or maybe she just wants to make it hard for you to prove who you are. Jake is already on his phone. I'm calling the police. This crosses the line from a civil matter to a criminal one. While Jake talks to the police, I sit on my bed that Jessica has been sleeping in, and try to make sense of everything. 6 months ago, I was a normal grandmother living a quiet life. Now I'm the victim of theft and fraud, fighting to stay in my own home. Michael appears in the doorway, looking nervous. Mom, the police are here. 2 officers are waiting in my living room. The older one, Officer Martinez, has kind eyes and gray hair. The younger one, Officer Brooks, is taking notes. Mrs. Henderson, Officer Martinez says, we understand you want to file a theft report? I explain about the missing documents. Officer Brooks writes everything down. Do you have any proof that Jessica Richards took these items? She's the only person who had access to my room. She's been staying here for the past week. Officer Martinez nods. We'll need to speak with her. Do you know where she is? She left about an hour ago. She said she was going to stay with a friend. We'll need her contact information. Michael shifts uncomfortably. I don't know where she went. She was really upset. Michael, I say firmly, this is serious. She stole my personal documents. Maybe she just moved them somewhere safe. Safe from what? From me? In my own house. Officer Brooks looks up from his notepad. Sir, regardless of the family situation, taking someone's personal documents without permission is theft. That's when my phone buzzes. It's a text from another unknown number. This is Jessica. I have your papers. If you want them back, you'll drop this legal nonsense and leave Michael and me alone. I show the text to Officer Martinez. His expression hardens. Well, that makes our job easier. She just admitted to taking your property and is now trying to extort you. Extort? Michael looks confused. She's demanding that your mother drop her legal case in exchange for returning stolen property. That's extortion, which is a felony. Michael's face goes pale. A felony? I'm going to need to take your mother's phone as evidence, Officer Martinez says. We'll get a warrant for Jessica's phone records too. While the officers finish their report, I walk around my house trying to see it with fresh eyes. This is my home. I bought it, I maintained it, I filled it with love and memories. But now it feels like a war zone. In the living room, I notice that Jessica has already made changes. My family photos are gone from the mantel, replaced with pictures of her and Michael. My favorite throw pillows, the ones I made myself, are nowhere to be seen. Even my reading chair has been moved to a different corner. She's been erasing me from my own home. Tommy comes downstairs carrying his backpack. Grandma, I have to go to school now. Will you still be here when I get back? I'm not going anywhere, sweetheart. Promise. I promise. Michael walks Tommy to the door. I can see them talking on the front porch, Tommy looking up at his father with worried eyes. When they hug goodbye, Tommy holds on longer than usual. After Michael comes back inside, the house feels too quiet. Margaret and Jake have left to file more paperwork. Ruth went home to get some of my clothes from her house. She's been keeping a suitcase there just in case. The police are gone. It's just me and Michael, alone in the house where I raised him. Mom, I need to ask you something, he says, sitting down across from me. Are you really going to press charges against Jessica? She stole from me, Michael. She's trying to blackmail me. But she's Tommy's mother. If she goes to jail, what happens to him? I feel a stab of guilt. I don't want to hurt Tommy, but I can't let Jessica get away with this. Maybe we can work something out. Maybe she'll give your papers back if you just give us some space. Space to what? To kick me out of my own house again. Michael rubs his face with his hands. Mom, I know I messed up yesterday. I was stressed and confused and I said things I didn't mean. You told me you didn't need me anymore. I was wrong. I know that now. But Jessica is trying to change, and having you here makes her feel threatened. Threatened by what? By the fact that I love my grandson? By the fact that I've been taking care of this family. She thinks you don't approve of her. Michael, she abandoned you and Tommy for 6 months. She cheated on you. She stole my personal documents. What exactly am I supposed to approve of? Michael doesn't answer. He just stares at his hands. I need to ask you something, I continue. Do you love her, or are you just afraid of being alone? He looks up at me with surprise. What do you mean? You were devastated when she left. You came here broken and scared. Now she's back and you're acting like nothing happened. But I don't see love in your eyes when you look at her. I see fear. I'm not afraid. Then why are you letting her make all the decisions? Why are you letting her treat your mother like the enemy? Michael stands up and walks to the window. It's complicated. It's only complicated if you make it complicated. That's when my phone rings. It's Ruth. Helen, you need to turn on Channel 7 News. Right now. I grab the TV remote and flip to the local news station. There's a reporter standing outside my house, with a microphone in her hand. This is Sarah Chen reporting from Maple Street, where a family dispute has turned into a legal battle. Earlier today, police were called to this home where 63-year-old Helen Henderson claims she was illegally evicted by her own son and daughter-in-law. My mouth drops open. How did they find out about this? On screen, the reporter continues. According to sources, Henderson's daughter-in-law Jessica Richards allegedly stole important documents and is now demanding that Henderson drop her legal case in exchange for their return. Someone called the media, Michael says, his voice tight with anger. It wasn't me, I say quickly. The case highlights a growing problem in our community, elder abuse by family members. We'll have more on this story at 6 o'clock. Michael turns off the TV and looks at me with accusation in his eyes. Now the whole neighborhood knows our business. I didn't call them, Michael. Then who did? Before I can answer, there's a knock at the door. Through the window, I can see Mrs. Patterson from next door, holding a casserole dish. Helen dear, she says when I open the door. I saw the news. I wanted you to know that several of us neighbors have been worried about you. Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. We've been hearing a lot of shouting from your house lately. And we all noticed when you disappeared for 2 days. It didn't seem right. Michael appears behind me. Mrs. Patterson, this is a private family matter. Maybe so, but when we see someone being mistreated, we speak up. That's what neighbors do. She hands me the casserole dish. This is for you, dear. And I want you to know that if you need anything at all, you just call me. After she leaves, Michael turns to me with frustration written all over his face. Great. Now the whole neighborhood thinks I'm abusing my mother. Aren't you? The question hangs in the air between us. Michael stares at me like I've slapped him. I never laid a hand on you. There are other ways to hurt someone, Michael. Other ways to abuse them. His face crumples. I'm not like Dad. I would never. Your father hit me, I say quietly. You throw me out of my own home and let another woman steal my belongings. Which one hurts more? Michael doesn't answer. He just stands there, looking like the scared little boy he used to be when his father would start yelling. That's when I hear a car door slam outside. Through the window, I see Jessica getting out of a red sports car I don't recognize. She's changed clothes. Now she's wearing a tight dress and high heels. She looks like she's going to a party, not coming home to deal with a family crisis. But she's not alone. There's a man in the car with her. He's older, maybe 50, wearing an expensive suit. He gets out and follows Jessica toward the house. Who is that? I ask Michael. Michael looks out the window and his face goes white. I don't know. Jessica opens the front door without knocking. After all, she thinks she lives here now. The man follows her inside. Michael, darling, she says in a voice like honey, I want you to meet someone. This is Richard Hartley. He's my lawyer. Michael's truck door slams so hard the neighbor's dog starts barking. His heavy boots stomp up the front steps while I'm still holding Tommy's trembling hand upstairs. Through the thin walls, his voice explodes like thunder. What the hell is going on in my house? But it's not his house. That's the first thing I need to make clear when I walk down those stairs. My legs feel shaky, but my mind is sharp as broken glass. Tommy squeezes my fingers one more time before I let go. Stay here, sweetheart. Everything will be okay. Margaret's voice drifts up from below, calm and steady like a doctor delivering news. Michael, we need to discuss the situation with your mother. I can hear Jessica's heels clicking on my hardwood floors as she paces back and forth. She's probably wearing those expensive shoes she bought with the credit card Michael can't afford. There's nothing to discuss. Michael shouts, and I wince because I know the whole neighborhood can hear him. I told her to leave and she left. End of story. His words hit me like ice water, but Ruth's response burns hot. You selfish, ungrateful boy. Your mother gave up everything for you. I take a deep breath and start walking downstairs. Each step feels like I'm walking toward a cliff, but I won't back down. Not anymore. Not when Tommy needs me to be strong. At the bottom of the stairs, I see Michael's face red with anger, Jessica clinging to his arm like she owns him, and Margaret standing between them all with her briefcase open. Michael, I say quietly, and everyone turns to look at me. We need to talk. Alone. He shakes his head so fast his hair flies around. No. Whatever you have to say, you can say it in front of Jessica. We're a team now. The word team sounds wrong coming from his mouth, like he's trying to convince himself more than me. Jessica's smile is mean and cold. That's right. Michael doesn't need his mommy anymore. She says, mommy, like it's a dirty word, and I see Ruth's hands curl into fists. But Margaret raises her hand before anyone can explode. Jessica, perhaps you could give us some privacy? Margaret's voice is professional, but there's steel underneath. This is my house now, Jessica snaps back. I'm not going anywhere. She looks around my kitchen like she's already planning where to put her things. My coffee maker that I've had for 10 years. My grandmother's china cabinet. The little herb garden I started by the window. That's when something inside me clicks into place. Something I've been too nice, too worried about keeping peace to use before. I stand up straighter and look Jessica right in the eyes. Actually, Jessica, this is my house. My name is on the deed. I've been paying the mortgage for 23 years. The kitchen goes so quiet I can hear the refrigerator humming. Michael's face goes white like he's seen a ghost. Mom, you can't just kick us out. Where would we go? Now he's worried about having nowhere to go. Yesterday he threw me out with 2 suitcases and didn't care where I slept. You said you didn't need me anymore, I reply, keeping my voice steady. I believed you. Margaret opens her briefcase and pulls out papers that look very official. Helen asked me to draft an eviction notice. You have 30 days to find alternative housing. She sets the papers on my kitchen table, right next to the fruit bowl Michael used to steal apples from when he was little. Michael stares at the papers like they might bite him. Mom, you can't be serious. What about Tommy? What about everything we've been through? His voice cracks on Tommy's name, and I almost feel sorry for him. Almost. But then Jessica opens her mouth again. You can't evict us. We have rights. She's practically screaming now, her perfect makeup starting to smudge. I know people. I'll call a lawyer. Margaret's smile is sharp as a knife. Actually, you don't have any rights here. You're not on the lease, Jessica. You have no legal standing in this house whatsoever. She shuffles through more papers. In fact, according to the property records, you don't even live here officially. No mail, no bills, no documentation. That's when I hear little footsteps on the stairs. Tommy appears at the top, his face streaked with tears. Daddy, why are you sending Grandma away? She makes the best cookies and she reads me stories and she helps with my homework. His voice is so small and broken it makes my heart hurt. Michael looks up at his son, then back at me, and I see something crack in his face. Real fear creeps into his eyes. Tommy, go to your room, Jessica orders, but her voice sounds less sure now. This doesn't concern you, she adds, but Tommy doesn't move. Yes, it does. Grandma is my family too. Tommy's voice gets stronger, braver. She takes care of me when I'm sick and she makes me lunch and she knows all my favorite songs. Michael is staring at Tommy like he's really seeing him for the first time in weeks. My grandson's pajamas are wrinkled and dirty. His hair hasn't been washed in days. His little face is thinner than it should be. Tommy, Michael says slowly, when did you last have a real meal? His voice is barely a whisper. Tommy thinks for a moment, counting on his fingers. Yesterday morning. Jessica said cereal for every meal was fine. The silence that follows is deafening. I watch my son's face crumble as he realizes what he's done. What he's allowed to happen. Ruth makes a sound like she's choking. Margaret writes something down in her notebook. Jessica realizes she's losing control. Michael, don't listen to them. We can figure this out together. We don't need her interfering in our lives. But her voice sounds desperate now, not confident. Michael keeps staring at Tommy. At his messy hair and sad eyes and wrinkled clothes. Oh God, he whispers. What have I done? Jessica, I need you to leave. Michael's words cut through the kitchen like a sword. Simple. Final. No explanation needed. Jessica's perfectly made-up face twists into something ugly and desperate. You're choosing your mother over me? After everything we've been through. Her voice climbs higher with each word. After I came back to you? After I forgave you for being such a failure. The word, failure, hangs in the air like poison. Michael flinches, but his voice stays steady. I'm choosing my son. And I'm choosing to apologize to the woman who raised me, who sacrificed everything for me, who I treated like garbage because I was too proud to admit I needed help. Jessica's mask falls completely off. You're making a huge mistake, Michael. You'll come crawling back to me within a week. You can't handle anything on your own. She grabs her purse and storms toward the door. And when you do, don't expect me to be waiting. The front door slams so hard the whole house shakes. Through the window, I watch her screech out of the driveway in her red car, probably heading straight to whoever she was with before she decided Michael was useful again. Michael sinks onto my couch like all the air has been sucked out of him. His shoulders shake and his head drops into his hands. Mom, I'm so sorry. I was scared and overwhelmed and I took it out on you. Jessica kept saying you were trying to control our lives, and I believed her because it was easier than admitting I was failing. Tommy doesn't wait for permission. He races down the stairs and throws himself at me first, then at his father, trying to hug us both at the same time. His little arms barely reach around us, but his love fills the whole room. Can we all live together again? Tommy asks, looking between us with hopeful eyes. Can Grandma make pancakes tomorrow? And can she read me stories again? And can we build that treehouse you promised? Michael looks at me with tears streaming down his face. That's up to your grandma, buddy. I said some awful things I can't take back. His voice is rough and broken. Things no son should ever say to his mother. I look at my son, really look at him. He's lost weight these past few months. There are dark circles under his eyes like he hasn't slept in weeks. His hands shake slightly when he reaches for Tommy. He's been drowning and too proud to ask for help. Michael, I forgive you, I say, and I mean it. Relief floods his face like sunrise. But things are going to be different now. We're going to have rules, boundaries, and honest conversations. No more taking advantage of each other. Margaret smiles as she packs up her papers. I'll tear up the eviction notice, she says. But I'm keeping copies of everything, just in case. She looks at Michael seriously. Your mother is a saint for giving you another chance. Don't waste it. Ruth hugs me tight. I'm proud of you, Helen. You found your voice and you used it when it mattered. She ruffles Tommy's hair. And you, young man, are braver than most grown-ups I know. As Margaret and Ruth leave, Tommy is already planning tomorrow's pancake flavors. Can we have chocolate chip? And blueberry? And maybe some with whipped cream. His excitement is infectious, and I see Michael smile for the first time in months. We can have whatever you want, sweetheart, I tell him. But first, let's get you cleaned up and fed properly. Michael stands up slowly. Mom, I don't know how to thank you. Or how to make this right. He looks around the kitchen, at the dirty dishes piled up, at the empty refrigerator, at the chaos he's created. I've made such a mess of everything. We'll figure it out together, I say. That's what families do. I start pulling ingredients from the pantry. But first, let's make grilled cheese sandwiches. Tommy looks like he hasn't eaten a real meal in days. As I heat up the pan, Michael starts washing dishes without being asked. Tommy sits at the kitchen table, chattering about everything that's happened, everything he's missed, everything he wants to do tomorrow. The house feels alive again, full of voices and laughter and the smell of melting butter. Mom, Michael says quietly while Tommy is distracted with his sandwich, I learned something important today. Jessica was wrong about a lot of things, but she was right about one thing. I couldn't handle everything on my own. I needed help, and I was too stubborn to ask for it. I flip another sandwich in the pan. Needing help isn't a weakness, Michael. It's human. The weakness was pushing away the people who love you most. He nods and keeps washing dishes. I won't make that mistake again. I promise. As evening settles over the house, I realize this crisis has given me something I never had before. The certainty that I matter. That my love has value. That sometimes walking away is the only way to make someone understand what they're losing. Tommy falls asleep on the couch between Michael and me, his head on my lap, his feet touching his father's leg. We're watching his favorite cartoon, and for the first time in months, everything feels right. Tomorrow, Michael says softly, I'm going to start looking for our own place. Somewhere close by, but not here. We need to learn how to be a family without depending on you for everything. I stroke Tommy's hair as he sleeps. That sounds like a good plan. But there's no rush. Take your time and find the right place. And Mom? Michael's voice is barely a whisper. Thank you. For not giving up on me. For fighting for Tommy. For teaching me that love isn't about being needed, it's about being valued, respected, and chosen every single day. I look at my son, my grandson, my home full of second chances and hard-won wisdom. We're finally home. Not just in my house, but in our own skin, knowing that love strong enough to walk away is love strong enough to welcome you back.